go to the presentation of my lecture. I want to say that being a part of this community today is an honor for me. And we decided that I will talk about aging and longevity, which can be a global public health challenge for 21st century. I can easily talk about it because I belong to the 60-plus generation, so I know what I'm talking about challenges and problems that the aging population of the globe is facing. But I will try to give you, during my lecture, some understand of the global demographic trends in aging and longevity, defining what is aging, what is longevity, explore both health and also economic and social and societal implications of the aging population, and also to discuss strategies for increasing longevity and strategies for healthy aging, which are quite crucial for youth. And also, being from the medical university, I will try to highlight the role of healthcare professionals and local communities in solving the problem. Before I go to definition of aging and to discuss what is science-based knowledge about it, I want to come back to some historical facts. It's quite a nice coincidence that 500 years ago, a Spanish conquistador started his expedition to go to America to find treasure and gold. And when they landed in 1524 in Panama, they met healthy people, old people living a good life in one of the villages. So they decided that there is a special source of their health, of their happiness, and started, instead of looking for gold, started to look for so-called aqua vita, the source, the elixir of youth. So the history has 500 years. And it means that always human beings, always people wanted to live longer and to live happier life. If this is the goal for the global society, we have to treat it very seriously. And thank you for the film that you presented during the ceremony, because it summarizes the interdisciplinary approach that we need to solve or to help solving problems of demographic challenge and increasing group of people around the world living 65 plus and longer, to people who live 100 years and longer, and who can be a very valuable part of our communities and societies if we found the basis for the coexistence of generations. So what I want to say is, and I will talk about thinking globally, but acting locally. We need a global look at the problem or a challenge. I don't like the word problem when talking about aging. This is just a challenge because, according to the definition you can see here, aging is a biological process that leads to physiological and functional decline. But this is a process, and everybody, each person, each human being, but also each animal will be a part of this process. If this is the case, we should think about healthy aging. Not only aging, but aging in good condition, aging relatively close to the community we come from, and living a satisfactional life. And WHO defines healthy aging as a process of developing and maintaining functional ability that enables well-being in older age. What does it mean? It means that we have to use all resources we have, all knowledge and experience we have, to support our society for a healthy aging. Of course, being here among young generation, people who will face this in probably 30, 40, 50 years, it's quite difficult to talk about diseases, about age-related diseases. But if you look at the list of these diseases, you can find a space for medicine, for molecular biology, for all research that can be done in solving the problems connected with aging-related diseases. On the list that is presented here, you can see cardiovascular diseases, you can see degenerative joint diseases, also diabetes, or in general civilization diseases, but also neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson, Alzheimer, being an example, being the examples of dementia, which also cause a lot of struggle among the aging society. Cancer, obvious and so natural on the list. Our this year award winner can talk about it in details. I just want to put this on the list. And usually when thinking about the aging society, we also think about the generation of multiple organs. One more comment when talking about these diseases and the reasons and the background, molecular background of these diseases. It's not time to do this. Just looking at these examples here given, like inflammation, like telomere reducing, like mitochondrial dysfunction, and many others, DNA damage, we can see that there is a space for research, but there is also a space for community acting, because some of these diseases can be controlled when people know how to live. So we have to live consciously, knowing and thinking about aging as a process, and trying to support not only the community, but also support us and prepare us for this healthy aging and longevity. Since this is, as I said, and I do believe, one of the few most important challenges, global challenges of human beings, you can imagine that this is also in light of international organizations, including World Health Organization, which publishes every year reports on development of aging, anti-aging, of healthy aging activity around the world. But let's put some facts, some numbers. Numbers illustrate very well the process. So look at these numbers and imagine a population of 161 million people of age 60 plus around the globe. It's half of the population of India, roughly, I think, when you think about it. But there is estimation and projection that in 2050, so in a year where you will be still very active professionally and participating in a social life, this number will double. So the in total population of the world, the population of India could represent people 65 plus. What's more important and more frustrating, population aging is irreversible global trend. What does it mean? It means that for last 4 centuries, the average life been longer and longer around the world. So we live much longer. I will give you some schemes demonstrating how rapid the process of increasing lifespan was. And because of that, we have to be prepared for these societal changes with the use of all possible resources we have. Of course, this process is not even all around the world. Parts of the globe develop with different speed, and I will show you also this in next slides. But you have to imagine that in 2050, 1 in 6 people globally will be 65 or more. As fertility levels fall, the younger generation share declines, but it also means that the global employees market is changing, and we will have shortage of people who will work in this aging society. Here you can see how much the differences are projected and expected with Northern America and Europe now facing the problems much more intensely than other continents, but in future we expect that it's Northern Africa and Western Asia with Sub-Saharan Africa which are expected to experience the fastest growth of elderly people. One very important factor also, which is visible among communities in Europe already, is that women used to live longer. The difference sometimes in countries like Poland exceeds 6 years among the average lifespan of men and women. What does it mean? It means that the aging society is shifted towards female participants of life. At the age of 90, in a community of Japanese elderly people, the percentage of women reaches 75%. It also creates additional challenges for women to support them in a good and healthy aging. As you can see, and these are examples coming from Europe, I don't know whether I can, no, probably I can't. Oh yeah, I can. So this is This is some information about Europe. I promised you some data. Data are very important to plan and to think about future. You can see that this map explains the expected expected lifespan in Europe for different parts of Europe. You can see that even in Europe, which is very often treated as a unit, the differences are very high, and with a community of Sweden, where the expected healthy life at birth is 70 years, and community of Latvia, where it is more than 50 years, the difference, the gap, is 20 years, in Europe only. So you can imagine that going into other continents, the problem, the challenge, is even more profound. That's why I was talking about thinking globally, but acting locally. If you go to fantastic website, All Data, World All Data, you can see a lot of very important, very informative statistics, which give us the view of what is happening around the world. And here again, you can see green in America, green mostly in North America, green in majority countries of Europe, green in Australia. It means that the people live there longer, much longer than in other parts of the world. The blue ones are the countries which have the shortest lifespan. It means that there are the youngest societies globally. In fact, it means that they will speed up trying to reach the levels of other countries. And the population changes will be the most dramatic, the most dynamic there. So mostly Africa, you can see India, which is located here, with average life expectancy between 64 and 69. 64 for men, 69 for women. 5 years gap in India. Please, if some of you are interested in analyzing data, this website is really mine for very interesting and inspirational information. Geographic trends, global demographic trends are like that. I was talking about it, and since I'm going probably too slow, I will just repeat the information about young Africa, old Europe, and average, let's say, Americas and Euro-Asia. But this is my favorite graph. And I think this can really be inspiration, but also have to be a subject of a very careful analysis. Here you have global demographic changes between 1950 and 2100. 1950, a lot of people among audience are coming from this time, and around 2100, some of you, a lot of you, I hope, will still live. So you can see how dynamic the global demographic changes appear. The blue part here covers 1950s. So this is a total population of the globe in 1050. And then there is, on this axis, there are people with their age. So these are people of 90 years old age, 80, 70, etc., etc. And what is the trend? We are somewhere there now, in the middle of this part. So what is very, very much visible here, that not only the population is increasing, not only the age prognostics are giving us a confirmation, but also you can see that there is a change between men and women, and there will be more and more women living longer in future. So this is something that we need to have in mind when thinking about any activity within this area, this multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, cross-sector challenge of the global market. Some of comparisons for regions, I put India here. You can see the structure, the pyramid of population in India in 2020. And if you compare it with the United States, you can see that people in the United States live generally longer. There is a much bigger gap between men and women. That's quite unusual. One could expect that in very developed countries, the lifespan could be very similar because of style of life and all support that we have. But it's not true. And if you look at Nigeria and Guatemala, you can see that these are still very young countries, very young communities, and the changes can be also predicted based on these data. If this is the case, we have to think about growing need for elderly care. Elderly people from 60 plus on need different services, different support, and they expect it from us, from the society. So what are these needs for elderly care if we want to live longer and healthy and healthy? First of all, we have to consider very carefully the demographic trends, as I tried to convey it to you. We have to think, and this is obviously global, thinking locally, we have to take into consideration the changing family dynamics, the model of family. Multi-generational family has been changing rapidly. It's going into the direction of one or two generation model where parents live with their children. So we have to consider this when thinking about a proper care of elderly people. We have to remember that the increasing population of retired people means that there will be a shortage of caregivers. So we have to find a solution how to mobilize the elderly community to help themselves, to be involved in some activities of self-help, self-activity, and community activity on local level. There are, of course, very serious economic considerations. It's a challenge, but it's also opportunity, and I will show you opportunities that are connected with solving of this challenge. And there are technological innovation in India. Only 47% of people, 47 people work within the society. It means that these 47 people have to support elderly. So, since I was asked to shorten my lecture, let's talk about opportunities in aging and longevity. Where are they? Whether they are unique for different countries, or are they global? I think that the opportunities are global. So if you look at and be familiar with the so-called silver economy concept, you will see that within different areas of activity, business, education, innovation, there is a lot of space, especially dedicated to services offered to elderly people. And of course, this growth of the silver economy is connected with the increasing amount of services and products offered to elderly people, including drugs, including pharmacological support, including technological support, including societal innovation. But this innovation belongs to so many different categories I was talking about in between. And something that is usually asked, how can we use artificial intelligence, whether we can use? Yes, we can, and we are using it already. We are using artificial intelligence in different areas to support elderly people, to build up modern and novel applications, novel support for the utensils that elderly people use and are familiar with. And we use not only our human brains, researchers' brains, but we also use artificial intelligence to support elderly care. I will not go through this. I can say only that there is a global strategy on healthy aging that was published a few years ago, and the aim of this strategy is to improve functional ability and health systems globally. And you can see that there are different areas of action, including leadership, including evidence generation, and including community support. And the goal of the World Health Organization is to increase access to essential, high-quality, safe, effective, and affordable medical products. Affordable is very important because we have to remember that not each country can support their elderly citizens as the European countries do, or Americans do when they are lucky and have good retirement scheme, because it's not available to everybody. Role of technology is quite obvious. Smart cities. This is something that I really do believe in, since majority of population will live in cities. We have to think about changing the structure, rebuilding the structure of our cities to become elderly friendly. And these are so-called smart cities with all of these services I was talking about earlier located within the community. A fantastic project is run in Manchester. In Manchester, they try to use all of these technologies that I was talking about to rebuild Manchester. industrial city. Of course, the role of medical professionals cannot be overestimated. It's not only the question of doctors, it's a question of nurses, it's a question of social workers, but it's also a question of proper approach of all society. And it involves also safety and legal issues when talking about this open access of different institutions to elderly people. I would like to point once again a strong accent on transgeneration local contacts, which cannot be overestimated. And just summarizing to take away, I think that the increasing lifespan, longevity, is a huge success of humans. It's success of lifestyle, it's success of medicine, it's success of the changing conditions of our life supported by technologies. The process of aging is irreversible. So the challenge of aging society is a never-ending story. It's not just current fantasy. It will be increasing with years. And it causes challenges and threats, of course, but it also creates huge opportunities on global and local markets, and opportunities for young generation, for your generation. We have to stress one more thing I did not talk about. It's lifestyle and lifestyle conditions, which have a great impact on healthy aging and on longevity. And as the last and very important takeaway, I think that cross-generation solidarity, understanding of the needs of elderly population, as well as understanding of requirements and expectations and ambitions of young generations, are so important factor to face this global challenge. And one of my favorite quotations is quotation coming from the 26th President of the United States. Theodore Roosevelt said that old age is everything like everything else. To make success of it, you've got to start young. So this is, I think, the summary of my lecture. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much for listening to me on my lecture.